Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Path of Exile 2 video, and I'm going to try to explain how to do some pretty crazy crafts with some kind of deterministic crafting in PoE 2. It's really hard to explain in a good way, so I will try my best, and I'll try to do it as slow as I can. Now, sadly, Craft of Exile 2, or Craft of Exile 4 Path of Exile 2, is not updated with the emulator, because in PoE 1, you can actually practice crafting on items here. However, I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. So I'm going to take the example of a pair of gloves that we just crafted, which looks like this, with a 222 energy shield, triple resistances, and there's a way for us to more or less basically guarantee energy shield rolls as prefixes and guarantee resistances as suffixes. And it's crazy. So I'm going to try to explain it. This is a search on Craft of Exile PoE 2 version up here for a pair of gloves. This shows the item level requirement. So in this case, on the prefixes, I can see that I am going to need an item level 78 or higher to make sure I can hit the highest tier here. For suffixes, the item level for resistances is 82. So now I know that the item level I want is at 82 base. I also know that I'm going to want to have the highest base that gives me the best energy shield, which for gloves right now is called Siren Scale. In this case, I would then search for a pair of Siren Scale gloves at item level 82 or higher. Now, the easiest way to do this is to make sure that the item is of magic variant. That means that if you find a white pair or a blue pair of these on the ground when you're playing, you would just put a perfect transmute on them and pray you get a good mod out of it. And with a good mod, you have two choices. There's an essence that gives you energy shield. There's an essence that gives you chaos resistance, for example. So you want to search for something like this. The problem is, a lot of people are starting to figure this out. So you're going to search for a magical version. And they are pretty expensive. Or freaking divines. Jesus Christ. So basically, you want to play the game, find one of these instead of buying them, because they're way too expensive to buy. So what happens then to an item when you have, let's say this pair here, where you have a flat energy shield and no other pre-suffix? You would then use an Essence of Ruin, which looks like this. I can't show you the crafting. I just learned it, and I'm broke, so I can't really do this in a better way than this. So just hang in there and try to keep up. You would use this, which will guarantee that the item is now a flat energy shield item with a rare state with a chaos rest roll. So what's really important on Craft of Exile is to learn how tag system works. So in the... Was it a flat energy shield of percent? In this example, it's a flat energy shield. Flat energy shield has a defense tag right there. It says defenses. So this is called tags, also commonly known as tags or family of modifiers. And the reason this is important to point out is this is how we craft a lot of stuff in Path of Exile 1. And now this is in PoE 2 in a more easier way, if you know what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to do this in a slow way. However, this is defense tag, and in our example, we now have a rare pair of gloves with an energy shield roll and a chaos res. So checking out the chaos res, we have chaos and resistance tag. What we're going to do now is going back in game and look at homogeneous, omen of homogenizing exaltation. So while this is active, you have to right click it in your inventory. Your next exalted orb will add a modifier of the same type as an existing modifier on the item. For some reason, based on Shinmoon, who's been helping us get through this, and what we did a pair of our gloves ourselves, when it added a suffix, it didn't care about the defense because there's no defense suffixes. But when I added a prefix, I was concerned that it was going to take the rest tag from the cold or prefix and whatnot. So in this example, you'll have a defense prefix and you have a chaos resistance tagged suffix. If you then use the omen that allows you to exalt only prefixes, and the homogenizing omen guarantees you an add with the same type of family of tags as a modifier that exists. If it chooses chaos or resistances, there is no chaos or resistance prefix on this item. So it has to choose the defense one either way. If you make sure that the item will slam a prefix, which means it's going to guarantee you either defenses, either hybrid energy shield with life or percent energy shield. Now, in this specific example, it is genuinely better to make sure that you don't slam the hybrid. You want to slam a high tier. And the reason you do this is because you can use a greater or perfect exalted orb in this case to make sure the level of a tier is higher. The way to bypass that is to use the desecration. So you would use one of these. Now, sorry, I don't even have one, I think. Am I blind? You need a rib. I don't have a rib. I'm broke. This, but in higher tiers. Not a nod rib, but a regular rib. And then you would use the omen to make sure that this is a prefix, which is like 10x or something. So this way, you can then use a desecration and then have the echo, which I don't have either. Dude, I am so fucking broke. The echo, omen of abyssal echoes, to be able to re-roll the 1 out of 3 you choose from. And you're chasing down a hybrid mod. And if you don't get one of those, that's fine. You can always dispel it with an omen of light and get back to it. And then you put this slam with homogenizing, which will then guarantee you the % energy shield. And then once you're done with this, you now have an item that has 3 full prefixes of energy shield mods, and you have 1 chaos rest in this example. You would then at this point use an homogenizing omen again, and just exalt slam. That's it, with a greater or perfect, whichever you want to spend. Probably greater because perfect is so expensive, which is going to guarantee you chaos and elemental resistance tag. And if you look at this, there's no chaos tags, which means you're guaranteed to get cold, fire, or lightning. And then you do it again because there's no other LE tags either, so you can guarantee a third resistances. And you have the higher exalted you use, the higher the minimum tier of the hit you're doing is going to happen. I'm sure I'm going to ask Kikis to include some footage of us doing these hits on in the game footage here, so you guys can see when we did this on the gloves we just crafted.
And included the message Shinyan Tavi gifted a tier
Thank you, Shinyan.
To Swoopy Boops. They have given a 1767 gift subs in the channel.
It's really hard to explain this, but I'm going to ask my editor to make sure he includes some footage from the craft we just did, which is similar to this, and you guys get an idea of how to do this. Essentially, the tag system allows us to deterministically craft in Path of Exile 2 with the usage of homogenizing omen. That's the gist of this, and I hope this explanation, and with the help of Kiki's editing skills, is able to get the point across so you guys can learn how to do this as well. I'm sorry if this wasn't better explained. Let me know if you have questions in my stream, and I'll try to elaborate on it. Let's take it step by step slowly of doing these on a pair of Vol gloves and a pair of Science Scale gloves with rest rolls on both lightning and fire. We'll buy, in this case, we're going to do the essence for an energy shield, which is equivalent to a tier 3. So we'll get these two, and then I do this. So what happens now is now we have a rare pair of gloves with energy shield and a rest roll. And in here, we have energy shield and a rest roll. I'm going to do the higher base first because science scales are better. And the idea here, I don't have enough money to go the full length in this, but I'll show you the process of it. So either I do the prefix on the desecration, which would be this one, Ominous Sinistral. Don't I have a Sinistral? Prefix, I have one right there. And that means I need a rib. So let's go get myself some ribs. I'd like 2 of those. Now we do this. I can add this. Now I have a prefix one. Now I have a prefix one. This allows me to have prefix of these. And I'm going to go buy myself some echoes. Like this. Echo. Pretty expensive, so we'll do one at a time. In this example, I'm going to try on in the Science Scale gloves. So now that I have the Omen of Echo, I can then roll twice. So I can do this, shove them in, and I'm trying to get a, in this case, flat energy shield. So I got flat. In this case, I'm just going to keep this. This is perfect. It's not perfect, but it's okay. And what I'll try to do is I'm going to try to slam that last one. So I'll take that as an example. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. So now we have the energy shield, and this is already 183. $51 in this one. Good lord. Okay. So as you can see here, we have 2 really good bases now. 2 prefixes are sorted with energy shield, and there's a suffix on each with resistances. And we go back to our hideout. And I don't think I have enough money to do this, but I'll show you the process of it. I don't have to think about it forcing prefixes, but maybe I can do that. I need a greater exalted orbs as well. So we do this, and I want to buy greater exalted orb. And I'll need 2 of those. Probably will need more. Next purchase is a homogenizing exaltation. Like we talked about, I'll buy 1 of these.
All right.
And the next process is this. I will be using this with a greater exalted because the perfect one is way too expensive. And that is going to give me a high tier, either prefix or suffix. However, what I could do is 1 of these. Just to give you the prefix here. I'm going to sinistral exaltation. I'll buy this just to show you the process of what happens with this here.
Pass the blinds. Stack it again with
That's
another
blind, thank
gift.
you, dude.
And you know what that means? It's time to dust off.
I left
permanent
1 of the
gold line.
Autobots behind. I kept the haste one. Okay, so in this process, we're guaranteeing prefix. We're using the homogenizing. And it should give me a hybrid energy shield modifier by doing this. And as you can see, I hit a tier 3. That is now a tier 3 hybrid energy shield life triple ES base. Guaranteed. Next process is buying a homogenizing Omen in greater exalt slam again. Now do keep in mind, oh GHAZZY, why don't you use the double exalt one? Which looks like this. It doesn't work. We tried it. We tried it. So now I need more money because I'm broke. All right, let's continue with the video. So now that we have triple prefix ES mods guaranteed, we have 1 suffix fire us. We are going to buy homogenizing exaltation. We need to buy 2 of them. We do this. Game, please. Thank you.
Let's see if there are any takers.
And now, I will first show you this. I'm going to show you the double exalted. We've tried it several times. This doesn't work in this one here. So I try to slam this with a greater exalted. Okay, apparently it worked this time. That's not good. We got double rest and a life. Why did it work this time? That is so weird. That is so weird that that worked the second time.
Holy shit,
Wow.
Seamager just dropped a sub like it's hot. Yes,
It
you
didn't
really need
work.
To hear more
No.
from brilliant mace.
But what it does show us is one very important detail. That life per enemy killed, life per enemy hit, enemy killed, that's a life tag, which is coming from, because of the hybrid mod. This also means that if you do the prefix craft with a non-chaos suffix, you are in the risk. If you have like life cold, if you have fire, cold, lightning, you are going to be at a risk of applying these. Now, however, these things, they have a very low weighted pooled a chance to roll compared to the others. It's extremely unlikely, but there is a risk for it. But this is how you do craft it. So it's as close to deterministic as we can get. So the mod craft does take the prefix into consideration. This is what I talked about before we did this video. But that is how you do it. So this is now a double rest roll, triple ES, 217 energy shield glove, which is actually kind of crazy. Unless the second slam didn't have the homo bonus. The other part is that you're right. The second mod from the double slam might not have included the homo. That could have been the case as well.
Fuck me sideways.
I'll have to craft another one to tell. So if I then do this, and I do prefix guarantee,
As I can.
and I do this, now it's gonna guarantee me the hybrid. But if the tag includes a suffix, I will run the risk of the lightning hit. I fucking knew it! I fucking knew it. It does take it into consideration. I said it several, but it does mean that the multi-slam works. This is what we talked about. It does take the suffix into consideration. So when you do this craft, to do it deterministically, you have to finish the prefixes first, but as soon as you put a life on, you could hit life on suffixes as well. Which essentially means that if you want to do it deterministically and get a perfect item, you'd have to hit the flat and the percent by desecrate crafting the hybrid, then hit your prefixes, then remove the prefix mod, desecration mode with an Omen of Light that looks like this. Omen of Light. You remove the desecrated mod. Then you do the whole double slam on suffixes. And if you do the double slam on suffixes, you will then have rest rolls on suffixes. And after that, you re-roll the prefix desecration into the hybrid. That is the determined, 100% guaranteed triple ES with triple resistance rolled gloves in this example. Anyways, deterministic crafting is back in PoE 2 and it's cracked. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Until next time, stay safe and keep rocking.